Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Welcome to Sacred Para. This is an impromptu live. If you'll notice, I do not have a virtual flyer out for today. I really debated if I was going to even do a live because I did a live on my other account. As many of you know, I'm an indie author. And I have another account. That's like my personal account. My R.K. Lemons Weber account. So if you ever are looking for any of my books, it's a few that's going to be under Sacred Para, but for the most part, all of them are going to say R.K. Lemons Weber. So that's my other account. And I really promised myself as part of my New Year's resolution that I was going to invest more time into my R.K. Lemons Weber account because I just don't. It's just sitting there. It's been sitting there for a while, and I've been having so much fun in our doll community that, and I kicked that, I'm sorry, but I'm having so much fun in our doll community that I've been very neglectful of that account. So I said I'm going to put more time into it. I'm going to invest more into my indie author account. And today was the day that I did one of my official lives on there. Nonetheless, I was like, how can I split myself into two? And that's one of the reasons why I did not put out a flyer for today. So, just in case you're like, I didn't know she was going to be on here. Yeah, I never did say anything. I just didn't know if I'd be able to juggle both. But hey, here I am. I just wanted to jump on here real quick, talk to you guys about storyline content development, encourage you guys about adult play therapy, as well as to talk about what's going on globally. So I'm not going to be on here very long, but just going to talk briefly about it with you guys because I really missed you. Even though I did a live somewhere else, it felt very unfamiliar. It was like, oh, I miss being here. So here I am. Let's talk about storyline content. All right. There have been different conversations that I've read in people's comments, just them dialoguing. And it's like, do I incorporate what's going on globally into my storyline? I don't want people to think that I'm not paying attention to what's going on, but in the same hand, I still have a story that I need to get out of me. And in the same hand, we're seeing so much on the news already. Is there any way to be able to express the story that's in me and not have people think that I'm being neglectful? Okay. So let's address it. In my opinion, and this is me, I'm going to do like Paul did, the Apostle Paul. Hi, Unicorn Moon 2020. Some people may know who the Apostle Paul is. Some people are like, who is that? And that's okay. Just look at it as if it's, Gandhi or Confucius or, I'm going to quote him as far as him saying, me, he's like, my opinion. So that's where I'm at with this. In my opinion, I don't think there's anything wrong with you moving forward with your storyline the way that you already have it. You need to be able to create the world. Hi, BB Dollies. You need to be able to create the world that feels good for you. Just like when, COVID was running real rampant, which technically we are still in a pandemic and it is still running rampant, and you still get reports of people saying that either they have COVID, someone that they knew, someone in their family has gotten it. And I'm talking about within the recent week. It still goes on. So we are still in a state of a pandemic. We're still in a state of emergency. But there's a lot of different people who didn't put it into their storyline. I didn't put it in my storyline. But then there were some people who had their dolls wearing a mask and they addressed the COVID. That was fine. That was their choice. So I really do believe that it's based off of your own personal choice. You don't have to let anyone manipulate your storyline. It is your storyline. That means whatever's going on culturally, what's going on in the society, it does not have to become a part of your world. This is our escape. Our doll community, our hobby, our play, that's ours. Think about it when you were a kid. When you were a kid and you sat down on the floor and you got your toys out and you played, I don't care if it was with your Hot Wheels toys, your Legos, your Barbies, whatever it was that you chose at that particular time to have as your play, that was all that mattered. My husband has this thing that he says, and he says it primarily about two of our kids, because once when they get focused in playtime, that's it. So he says this one thing. He's like, all that matters is the play. And it's really, really funny because you could be like calling his kid's name and they won't hear you. They're just like locked into playtime, you know. They got a cardboard tube that they done like stuffed all together and it's like a sword and they're just like, you know, they're in play mode. And so you could say their name a gazillion daggone times. And they're just like, even once they get out of the play and they finally hear you, they're just like, they're just revved up. Literally. And you're like, you know, where are you at right now? They're in a whole different realm. They're in playground, literally. And that's why my husband says, all that matters is the play. And he's right. Like right then, that's all that matters to them. That's it. Playtime. And I believe that's what we have to do even with our storyline. It's our playtime. You know, think about Goonies, right? I love that movie. And I can't think of the main character's name, and I should, but it's been years since I watched the movie, okay? Forgive me, all right? I haven't watched it in a little while. I may put it in today, though. That would be a nice movie with some popcorn, maybe like a little, like bourbon milkshake. I don't know. It sounds nice. Kids can have their own milkshake. Daddy and I can have a bourbon milkshake. But in the movie Goonies, right, you have the main character and they're down inside that well. And the one guy, like the preppy guy, he's like, get up here right now. And the main character gives this like really eloquent, long speech. He's like, down here is our world. Up there is their world. And I really think that we got to get on that level of passion with our play. Down here, right here, on our phones, on our tablets, on our laptops, whatever you're uploading your storyline on and posting your pictures and your reels and videos on, this is our community. It's our storyline. If you feel fit to put in there about the pandemic, about fascinations, about what's going on with Black Lives Matter, what's going on with the indigenous culture, what's going on right now globally between Russia and Ukraine. If you feel in your heart that you want to address those things, by all means do it. I say do it. I'm not against it at all. Do it. It's your storyline. You know, you never do know. You may be able to bring some awareness to people. Last time I did a live and I talked about what happened in Tulsa in 1921, also called Black Wall Street. And I talked about what happened with the indigenous culture and how their teepees were burnt down, their homes were burnt down. And I got DMs saying, you know, thank you for the history lesson. There's something I didn't know. And you know, you're right. History does repeat itself. And sometimes it repeats itself somewhere else. And sometimes it repeats itself in the same area. Right? So it brought in awareness. So I say that because maybe the post that you put out will bring an awareness to people's hearts where they go, wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I really do need to, you know, reconsider that. I need to change my perspective on that. If it's on your heart, do it. In the same hand, you already have a pre-existing storyline and you're kind of going, this doesn't really fit with what I already have. Like, I would almost have to take my characters out from where they're at to address this current situation that's going on culturally, and you don't feel it on your heart to do, and you feel like it's going to mess up the storyline that you have and kind of confuse your readers, don't do it. And that's okay. Don't do it. Keep your storyline just like it is. Keep your pictures flowing just like it is. Or maybe you feel like there's so much going on in the news already, I just don't feel like being bummed out. You know, I want to be able to create my own happy place. Do that, because I guarantee you there are other people, right, globally, in Russia, in Ukraine, people who are Nigerian or African who are going through different situations and turmoil states because of this ongoing war. They need to read your story. They need to see what you wrote. They need to be able to have that spark of joy. Shoot, we all do. Even if you're in the States and you feel like, well, I'm outside of it, but what can I do? You still need to have that spark of joy as well. And even if we don't look at what's going on globally, in your own home, there can be strife and situations and overwhelmness and anxiety and frustrations. And you just need to be able to go to your IG Live account, scroll through and see and read something that will transport you out of your situation. Make your story. Write it. It doesn't even have to be perfect. It can be drama filled. We love drama. It doesn't have to be like this, fluffy story and everybody's living happy and everybody's, just doing great and just joyful stuff. It can be drama filled. It can be heartbreak. In the same hand, it can be fluffy. Because we need that too. I tell you guys that all the time. Like, whatever you write, we need. If it's full of drama and heartbreak and sadness, we need that. If it's filled with comedy and laughs and giggles and chuckles, we need that. If it's filled with all kind of flowery stuff and happiness and everybody's just doing well and there is not a teardrop on that whole storyline, we need that as well. We need the story that's in you. I mean, we just genuinely, we do. We do. So don't write a story based off of the pandemic. Don't write a story based off of what's going on globally with the war and what you feel may end up coming out of it, unless that's what's on your heart to do. Don't do it just because you feel that that's what I need to do to appease everyone else. Write a story that is in your heart. And guess what? Those who are meant to read it will read it. Excuse me, if they're not meant to read it, then they just won't. Some people may feel upset about it and they may scroll past it. Okay, that's all right. But for others, like myself, we're going to read it. We're going to comment, we're going to make emojis, and it's going to fill our day with excitement and joy. We'll be entertained and waiting for the next one. Write the story that's important to you. So that was something that I did want to talk about, is what kind of storyline do you do? Do the one that's important to you. If somebody DMs you and they're like, you know what, I've been reading your story, you not one time address what's going on currently in our culture, you can let them know, I'm writing a story that's close to me. I've seen some people put out posts already and they're like, listen, this is my only post I'm going to put out here. I'm aware of what's going on, but I'm going to write a storyline that I am going to enjoy, that's going to be close to my heart, that's going to give me joy. Do it. I applaud you. In the same hand, there's some people like, I'm going to incorporate what's going on into my storyline because people need to know. Do it. But when people do that, whatever direction people choose, I feel that it's only right that we as an audience be respectful of that, understand that, and not comment and not try to tell people that they shouldn't do it. Because they should. I was moving my laptop over. I'm sorry, guys. I felt like it was in danger. It was like, oh, danger, Will Robinson. And I showed my age right there. And then it felt like danger. I was like, oh, let me move it. So, yeah, write the storyline that is close to your heart, that you want to write. Don't let society manipulate. Don't let what's going on culturally manipulate you. Don't let what's going on in the news manipulate you. Don't let other accounts manipulate the story that you have. Write it because you want to write it. So that would be my first thing to say. I'm trying to remember what else I said I was going to highlight. Right now, I wish I could kind of like rewind on this video so I could remember what my first thing was. I said I was going to talk about storyline, what's going on culturally, if you should address it or not. We already talked about that, and it's really up to you if you want to. And then also play, the importance of play therapy. So, play therapy. And this is going to be real brief. Play therapy is an ever-evolving concept, right? Right now, we may be playing with our dolls. Next week, we may be bringing out the Legos. The next day, we may get the Xbox out. And a little later on that day, we may be crafting, okay? And doing our own actual art pieces, just like this one. So, and then after that, you may be writing a book. You may actually take the storyline that you already have, put it in your journal over here. And yes, you can tell I've been thoroughly using this. And this is only torn because I have kids. And one of them tore it. I can't remember if it was like number 8 and 9 or number 10. It was one of those younger ones that tore off the cover. So here goes the cover. Sacred Para Presents Storyline Content Creation and Development Journal. Definitely get you one of these to write your storyline in. And you never do know, it could end up developing into a book. And you could be an indie author like myself, right? And I will get your book. Just let me know whenever you have those available. Coach Play is on here. Thank you so much for joining. We have Tulsa Tiny Stuff, who has joined. Thank you so much. And like I always tell you, Coach Play is literally a coach. He is a personal fitness coach. He's a fitness trainer. He's also a nutritionist. If you have any questions about nutrition, you need motivation, you need encouragement, you need to do a one-on-one, you need someone who's just going to virtually instruct you, you need someone who's got a really good program that you can be able to follow so that you can hit those, whatever your weight loss goals are, or if you just want to get more toned, you just want to eat better, contact him. Definitely. It's with an I and not a Y. With an I and not a Y. As you can tell, play is very important to us in this house because play literally helps get you through your day. Okay? So definitely contact Coach Play for any of your fitness needs, any of your nutrition needs. He will be there to help you. Like I said, this is going to be a short live, but I do want to encourage you guys as you play, don't allow yourself to get boxed in. Don't allow yourself to get boxed in. Whatever you desire to play with, play. It's your world, okay? We're here for it. So if you decide one day that you want to post some pictures of, I don't know, Legos and the new castle that you built, do it. Do it. Don't ever feel like, well, this is a doll account and everyone's just known me to have this specific story and I don't want to, change up what I'm doing. Because when you do that, you can lose your passion. You can lose your joy. And now you're just doing it and it feels like work. Do it because it's what brings you peace. Do it because it gives you enjoyment. Do it because, my goodness, it's an escape from the real world, right? So if you're like, listen, I know I usually do dolls, but today I'm just going to do Legos. And I want you to build with me. We're here for it. What are we going to do? Call you up and be like, this is wrong. This was all wrong. I follow you for the dolls. Well, guess what? If someone does boldly come to you and slide into your DMs or write something on your comments and it's like, I'm used to you doing dolls, I don't like that you're doing Legos, let them know in the most respectful way, you can unfollow me. Like, it's that easy. You can unfollow me. You don't like where my storyline is going. You don't like how I'm doing things. You don't like that I switched up and I started doing a whole entire different brand of dolls. You don't like that I'm doing fashion now. You don't like that I'm just taking random photos of my dolls being out with me. Unfollow me. It's that simple. It's that simple, guys. And the other person really can't say very much after that. Now, some people are very voicey. They may still try to say something, but guess what? You don't have to comment back. After you've already let them know, you don't have to look at it. You can unfollow. Leave it alone. And eventually, they'll stop writing you. Eventually, they may even stop following you. They may stop following you. And that's not a bad thing. Let them unfollow. Because you need to find your peace. You need to be able to write the storylines and write and create the things that matters to you. Even if you decide to take a social media break. That was the other thing I wanted to hit on before we get off. Social media break. So I have seen on here where some people are like, you know what, things are kind of shifting over and there's so much messiness going on that I just kind of think I'm going to take a social media break. And I'm all about soul cleansing. That's what I call it. I call it soul cleansing, especially during the time of Lent. For anybody that is a Catholic or has been a Catholic, former Catholic. I'm kind of a former Catholic, so is my husband. And it's nothing against it. It's just that, we're not active Catholic parishioners. So nonetheless, if you celebrate Lent, you know about soul cleansing, that this is just the time when you refocus your energy, you do some fasting from something so that you can be able to really align yourself with the struggles of Jesus, right? So that's kind of like a religious note, but not making this all about religion, but being able to have soul cleansing is so important, because if you do celebrate Lent or you do get into, just being able to shed negative stuff out of your life, sometimes social media can be a negative place. And right now, unfortunately, there's a lot of different negativity going on in our social media. I'm seeing people have to announce that they're Russian merchants. I'm seeing people, sometimes they can get a little bit nasty compared to how things were prior. And I believe that this is going to eventually simmer when we see things come to a resolve with this war. And I'm praying that it comes to a resolve very soon. especially when we look at how, Black and brown people are being treated as they try to cross over the border and try to get on trains. It's causing an actual divide in our doll community. And it crushes my heart. It really, really does. And it's not just my heart that gets crushed by it. I'm seeing so many other people say how it's emotionally taking a toll on them to have to see so many other doll members, just separate and divide. And we saw this happen even with the whole Black Lives Matter situation. We saw people, some people were going on the blue side, some people were going on Black Lives Matter side, and some people were right in the middle. I am a person who for me personally, I like to get my story out. The story that is just burning inside of me. And my story has nothing to do with what's going on culturally. It has nothing to do with what's going on society-wise. So I oftentimes won't really address it in my story. I'm not going to say it's never happened. I'm kind of like thinking back right now. I don't think I've done it. But I try my best not to. And it's not out of an avoidance. It's out of, there's a story that lives inside of me that needs to come out. And this is my playground. This is my playground to do that with you guys. But for other people, this is their time of being able to vent and, use this as a safe space for them to share how they feel. And unfortunately, what we do see is that there has become some division between people where they're banning each other and blocking each other from even tagging one another. And it's very unfortunate because our humanness has come in the way of our creativity and has come in the way of us just being together. So I say this because play is what's important. And I really do feel that we need to get back into understanding that even if someone says I'm a Russian Merchant or I'm a Ukrainian, that even if someone says that, even whenever people post different videos and show us quite bluntly Africans that are being refused to get on the train and things of that nature, I feel that it's important for us to send, positive healing energy to the situation, for us to pray if that's your thing. If you pray. It's important for us to speak about it, about being united, about being a family. We've come too far, guys, with this new technology that we have as far as us being able to connect. We've come too far to allow these situations to divide us, and especially in our doll community where our playtime is our sacred time. Sacred Para. This is a sacred space for us, and we shouldn't allow what's going on out there to dictate what goes on in here. So I say that with just love in my heart. Allow the play to be the most important thing. Just like my husband says, all that matters is the play. And I hope that we can get to that place of understanding that all that matters in this space is the play. Regardless if someone is posting something that has to deal with the narrative of what's going on in our own reality, we have to be able to look beyond that and realize the human that's behind it and love the person behind that account and be able to embrace the story, embrace the fashion, embrace the character, embrace the post. If it's something that's not your deal and it's just not your style, you don't want to talk about what's going on culturally, you don't want to talk about what's going on in reality, just scroll up. Literally, just scroll up. Go past it. That's all you have to do. Hi, how are you, Milk Tanaka? I'm hoping I said that right. Thank you for joining. Like I said, it's going to be a short live, just really addressing the factor being that there's a lot of different conversations about how I should address what's going on in our reality. Should I put that in my storyline? Should I put that into my playtime? You do your own thing, what feels most comfortable to you, number one. And number two, as being an adult play therapist, I believe that it is so important for us to play the way that we like. Don't allow anything to dictate it. Even though you may be part of a doll community, when it comes to play, you play the way that you need to. You play with the things that you want to play with. It's your choice. This is your sacred space. And number 3, soul cleansing. Because we talked about letting go of things. So I say that because if it's just too much going on and it just seems like there's too much division going on, if you need to take a break from social media, do it. Don't feel bad about it. Take that break. Take that time away. Gather your thoughts. Get the Xbox out. Get the PlayStation out. Read a good book. Get an ebook. Get an Arcade Lemons Weber book. Get a Ma Weber book. You get those things. Hi, Soul Unique loves dolls. You get that out during your spiritual time. That's like really, when we talk about soul cleansing, it's just like a spiritual healing time. We talk about self-care. Self-care is just more than just doing hair and nails and all that stuff. Self-care has to do with your own spiritual health and well-being. If it becomes too much, because there are humans behind this account who have human emotions, and we're going to sometimes vent and blurt out what we want. And we're going to do that with our art. We're going to do that with our photography. We're going to do that with our captions and with our dialogue. It's going to come out. So if it gets to be too much and you feel like, this is my place of escape, but now every time whenever I open up my page, all I'm seeing are comments about people being on this side or that side. And I just want to do my art. I just want to be able to read this and flip from, one account to the next and feel peace of mind. If it feels like you're not getting a peace of mind, take a break. And it's okay because you need that space and that time. So don't feel guilty. I'm feeling it's time for another break. I understand. And I'm with you. I support it. I support you. If that's something that you need to do, don't feel guilty about it. Take that break. Take that space that you need because it's sacred to you. That's exactly how I feel. Exactly. Take it. Take it. And we'll be here to check up on you. You'll get a DM that's like, hey, are you okay? Yeah, I'm just taking some space. I'm taking some soul cleansing time so that I can heal. It is so important because there's so much going on social media. There's always, but now especially, like I said, we're seeing so much between what's going on in Russia, what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on with Black and brown people who live in the Ukrainian culture. And it can become bombarding. And then put on top of that your own personal life, your own work life, your own finances, your own taking care of your household, your own making meals, your own dealing with family, your own dealing with friends, your own dealing with enemies. It could be too much and bombarding. So the one thing that that you can shut off for a little while is social media. If you need to do that, don't feel guilty. Do it. And while you're doing it, you never know. You may be coming up with some new photos. You may be coming up with some new characters. You may be coming up with some new storylines because you took that break. This is not work, guys. And even if you're getting sponsorship, because some people do get sponsorship, allow yourself to still have that creative time to heal. You still need that sacred space. You still need to be able to take a pause. A lot of Ukrainian drama folks choosing sides, and there is a lot of drama going on. There is a lot of choosing sides. Like I said, this even reminds me of whenever we have Black Lives Matter go on, you see the different sides that take place. And if we have Republican and Democrat, it's time to vote. You see people choosing and announcing where they're at on it because we're still human and we still like to vent. We're still emotional. We still want to put ourselves into whatever we do, whatever crafts, whatever art that we do, whatever story we do. Hi, Donna, the doll stylist. We want to put all that into this. So it's only natural for us to put ourselves and our perspectives and views in there. And if that's what you do, that's fine. I'm not against it. Like I said, if any of us don't want to read it or anything of that nature, we can just kind of scroll up. And if someone approaches you about it and says, I don't like that you always talk about Republicans. I don't like that you always talk about Democrats. I don't like that you talk about the independent party. You can always say, just don't read it and do it in a polite way. You don't have to read it or you can unfollow me. And people can then, they have the ball in their court. They can then make that decision. But make sure, like I said, this is becoming too much. It feels overwhelming. You don't feel like you're able to really get your art out there and your craft and you're not able to just escape. Take a soul cleansing break. Take a social media break. I'm seeing a lot of different accounts do that. Do it. Do it. There's nothing wrong with it. do it. You have to do what's going to be best for you. That's why we do this account. That's why we're even in the doll community, because it's best for us. That's why we are play therapists, because it's best for us. We get involved with play therapy because it's what's best for us. So when you need to take that break, do it. Just don't neglect yourself, because play is still important. So even while you're on break, find something to do. Get some cards out. Go ahead and play some solitaire or play Tunk with somebody. Get the game boards out. Go ahead and do that. Find something else to invest your energy into. Go out to the pool hall. Go out bowling. Do something with that same energy so that you're not just sitting idle. All right? Hi, how are you? Cole 971. Thank you for joining. Like I said, this was an impromptu live. I just wanted to get on here, talk to you guys, let you know that I see what's going on. I'm aware of it. I've addressed it in another live as well. And I've just seen different conversations and people dialoguing, and they're talking about, should I incorporate this in my account? I don't want people to think that I don't see it and I don't know what's going on. You don't ever have to feel that pressure to address it in your account. If you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. If you do want to talk about it, then you should. But you do what's best for you. Don't allow yourself to feel manipulated or pressured into taking pictures, making posts, or writing storylines that don't really fit with your objective as a storyteller, as a Tao therapy individual. Okay, because this is our account. This is our outlet. This is us being able to escape what's going on in the mainstream world and being able to enjoy ourselves. So allow yourself the peace of mind to enjoy. All right. So like I said, this was going to be a short live. You can always catch me on RK Lemons Weber, because this year I am planning on investing more time into my indie author page as well, because I've been so very neglectful of that page. But I'm wanting to do more on that page. I have a postpartum book that is going to be debuting soon. So I am now currently talking about postpartum on that particular channel, or I should say on that particular account. You can check that out. I do know that we have some mamas and some daddies and some people who are in partnership with each other, and you are parents. So check it out. Let's talk. Let's chat. We already got a conversation going on here. Let's talk and conversate on the RK Lemons Weber page, and we can be able to talk about who we are evolving and developing into. People are putting pressure because they are so involved and feel others should jump on their bandwagon. Yes, I do believe that is part of the case. I definitely do agree with you. But I see it also as far as us being involved with different political parties. When it's time to vote, you can really feel that pressure of people who are team Republican, who are team Democrat, who are team independent, and then you get the little, in between where people really just don't know, and they're like, should I talk about who I'm going to vote for, or should I just go ahead and keep going on with my storyline and my pictures? And then, when we have different situations, like I said, with Black Lives Matter and the police officers, it's like, where do I go with this? Do I talk about this? Do I talk about that? COVID, should I incorporate my dolls having a mask on? Should I talk about the new variant? Should I talk about vaccines and my perspective of if you should get vaccinated or if you shouldn't get vaccinated? You can feel that pressure. And I really do believe that what we need to do is write the storyline that's going to be closest to our heart. Dolls should stay out of politics. Yes, I agree. But again, it's that person's choice, what they want to write. And so I believe that because we have freedom of choice and because this is our account, if someone decides that they want to write that in their account, then they should go ahead and write that on their account, like in their caption or whatever the case is. But it's for us, because I'm not really big on, applying politics into your doll story, or, if you have doll fashion that you're doing or whatever the case is. I'm not really big on it, but I'm not against it because each person has a right to say whatever they want. So for me, if I feel like it may be too far left or too far right, I may read it, or if I feel like this is a pattern for you until after, we find out who the next president is or who the next governor is, I may just scroll past it. But if I feel like it's like in my face, just blunt, then I may just go ahead and unfollow you. Right? Because I have that right too. You have a right to voice whatever you want. If you're far left, if you're far right, you have a right to that. And I have a right to unfollow you. Like, that's simple for me. So I feel that if it's something that is just unpleasing for us, it makes us uncomfortable, especially if we start getting discriminatory and we start being racist, then not only do I have a right to unfollow you, but we also have a right to report you, because now you're doing too much. Now you're just doing too much. So if it gets to that point where it's just, like discrimination on that level, we have a right to not just unfollow, but also to report you, because now, you are being offensive. It's free of speech, but don't inbox people to stop following others that don't choose to follow you. Exactly. Because now we're starting to get into bullying and harassing. Let's not inbox each other like, unfollow this person. That's something you can do personally. I don't want to, if you're reading through and you see an account and like I said, it makes you uncomfortable, you don't agree with the perspective of the admin who's producing the pictures and the posts, unfollow them. If it gets to be where what they're saying is offensive, if it's racially offensive, if it's gender offensive, sexually offensive, especially if they're making a pattern of it, then it's time to report that person. But I'm really, really big on it being more of a personal choice. I do not engage in conversating with other admins and saying unfollow this person or you should follow this person, that level. Because that right there, can really become, it can become very detrimental to what we're doing. That's what I mean is happening. Yeah, and it is happening. It is happening. And that's why I'm saying, you know what? You have a choice. You can just say, I'm not going to engage in that conversation. Because I let people know. I've had people write me before and say, I don't like this account. This was a few months ago. I don't like this account and I don't think that you should follow this account because they're doing this and that. But what they were doing wasn't really offensive. It was just them, sharing a part of their perspective, but it wasn't really offensive on that level. So for me, I was like, please don't share that with me, because I don't like to engage in conversation behind people's back. So don't share that with me. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's their choice. And we always have a choice to unfollow or just to scroll and not conversate. And if someone's DMing you those things, let them know. I don't have anything to do with that. And that's what they choose to write. If that's what they choose to post, that's their personal business. Just like I can post what I want. And that's my personal business. Unless, of course, Instagram flags me and says you can't post that. That's different. But otherwise, I have a freedom to write what I want and post what I want. They do too. And let's respect that. So I'm about to start backing away. Exactly. You need that soul cleansing time. Hi, how are you? I saw Edna Thompson up here, which is my aunt. Hello. I saw Rose World. How you doing, boo? So if you need to take that soul cleansing time, do that. Don't respond to any DMs. Stop by and say hello and then I miss you. Miss you too. Thank you so much for joining. I was just on here real quick. Like I said, I didn't have a virtual flyer. Didn't know I was even going to join. But since I had some time, because, my husband's with the kids right now, which bless him. Like I said, they do all this setup for me and everything. He's such a blessing to me. But since he's with the kids, I was like, let me just take a little time to stop in on my page. See how you guys are doing. Talk to you. But one of the things that's been going on is just a lot of conversation about, what's going on globally with the war in Russia and Ukraine. And people have been conversating in comments, and I've even had a couple people ask me about should I apply what's going on there into my storyline. So that was one of the things that we're talking about right here. Should you apply it into your storyline? Should you apply it into your posts and your pictures? And the truth of the nature is that this is about you, your storyline, you producing what's important to you, and you being able to get your message out. So if your message has to do with what's going on there, do it. If your message does not, don't feel that pressure to do it. The other part of what we're talking about as well is that if you decide to play differently, you want to go from playing with your dolls to playing with your Legos, and you want to post those pictures of the castle that you just built or the starship that you built, post it. It's your playtime. This is your sacred space. You should be able to do that. The other portion of it is if somebody is writing you and DMing you and making you feel pressured and manipulated on being able, or I should say, you're trying to manipulate you to post things that's going on in society and culturally, you don't have to do that. Especially people are saying you shouldn't follow this person. You should follow this person. You should take this person off. You don't have to do that. You can actually take a soul cleansing break, and that's okay. You can get off of social media. You don't have to log in for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks, even a month. I've seen some people even take, quite honestly, there's 2 of my favorite accounts. I'm not going to, and I have a lot of favorite accounts. Everybody who's on here, I love your accounts. I do, literally. I have so many freaking favorite accounts. It's like, it's crazy. But 2 of them, I literally stopped seeing these people almost for a whole year. Like they would just post something in their story. One account didn't even post anything in her story. Nothing. Another one, he didn't even post anything. Like you didn't see these people at all. They went incognito. I'm so serious. Like I didn't even see them in comments. I keep real life away from my doll page. I post real life on my human page because I need my getaway, especially with depression and anxiety. So very true. I took 4 months once. It felt so good. Thank you. Whatever you need to do, do it. And that's your soul cleansing time. I was, addressing real quick about Lent, because with Lent, if anybody's Catholic, former Catholic, whatever, I'm a former Catholic. You take, for 40 days, you don't do something. You don't have any sugar, you don't cuss, you don't drink, whatever the case is, whatever you're supposed to do during that 40 days, no leavened bread. Is it leavened or unleavened? Oh my gosh, I feel so horrible. I can't remember. But you may not have any leavened bread. You may do like unleavened bread. So, that 40 days is a time of you being able to fast. So I see the same thing here with social media. But your fasting doesn't have to just be 40 days. Like he said, it could be 4 months. It could be a whole year, like I saw the other doll accounts do. Whatever you need to do so that you can be cleansed. It could just be for 1 day. But you do what's going to be important to you so that you can keep that mind healthy, so you can keep your spirit healthy. That's why I said it's a soul cleansing time. If people are DMing you left or right and they're saying what you need to do and who you need to follow, who you shouldn't follow, it's time to cut it off. It's time to take a break. It's time for you to just be able to enjoy yourself. Find something else to do doll-wise or play-wise. And it's okay. It's unleavened. Thank you. Unleavened bread. So, yes, you do what's going to be important for you so that you can enjoy your life. That's really what it's about. That is truly what it's about. So I thank you guys for being with me. Like I said, this was going to be an impromptu live. It wasn't going to be anything real long. I didn't even know I was going to log on here. But I just wanted to encourage you guys that as you write your storylines, as you post your pictures, do it because it makes you happy. Do whatever makes you happy, okay? I tell people goodbye. The minute they try to control mine. I learned that. Exactly. Don't let anyone control your space. This is your sacred space. This playtime is your sacred space. No one's supposed to control that. You do it because it's fun for you. That is so important because there's so much in life that we already have to do, that we have to do, that we're responsible to do, that we, have to compromise and do. Don't compromise on your playtime. I need to quote that. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, I need to quote that. Don't compromise on your playtime. This is your playtime. Don't compromise it. Write it the way that you want. Post it the way that you want. Make the designs and the fashion the way that you want. Because it's your playtime. That's simple. All right, guys, I'm Sacred Para. I thank you guys for joining me. I'm sorry I kicked that tripod again, or tripod. You guys have a really good day. Happy Saturday. We're getting close to spring. Hey, so I'm really looking forward to the fashions and the photos that's about to come out. Let's have joy. Let's have fun and enjoy yourself. You go for a soul cleansing break. I'm here for you. I'm supporting you, and I'm going to be here when you get back. All right? Bye, you guys.